Will Ainsley get kidnapped? Ainsley at last made some pals her own age with whom to hang around in Landman episode 7. She made the acquaintance of Ryder Sampson, a quarterback, at the night party. Ainsley chose to spend some time with him since she thought he was attractive, particularly because he played football. Sitting in the back of his pickup, Ainsley informed Ryder that she would be attending college to earn a degree in philanthropy. Her goal was to assist her future spouse, an NFL quarterback, in avoiding taxes. The show creators undoubtedly tried to make Ainsley appear as foolish as possible, but in this case, someone truly went too far. In any case, Angela, who had installed a tracker on her daughter's phone, begged a snoring Tommy to get into his truck and take their daughter home before anything could happen between Ainsley and Ryder. Although Ainsley made sure she would see Ryder again, Tommy swiftly came at the scene and cut off the two lovers, so we can expect to see them together again in the next episodes. We are only seeing Tommy Norris' world via Nathan's eyes. In my mind, that did sound amusing. For a significant portion of Landman episode 7, I truly missed Nathan's one-liners and his response to the chaos in his home. Comb Fury is a real delight to watch, thus I believe the showmakers should give him more screen time. Aside from him, the entire episode didn't have anything really exciting to offer. Monty Miller's intention to drill additional oil wells throughout the Val Verde Basin and pay for the entire project out of his own pocket was the primary focus of episode 7. Tommy tried to caution Monty before he signed the contract since he knew he was taking a risk, but it appears that Monty is determined to make a fortune using fossil fuels. Let's examine all of the significant occurrences in Landman episode 7 in more detail, as well as what lies ahead. Monty makes a dangerous offer. Danny Blanton, an industrialist friend of Monty's, made him an offer wherein his business would drill additional wells on the land he leased, and Monty would only have to pay 40% of the profits. They had intended to dig about 54 wells in Phase 1, which their analysis indicated may yield 200 barrels. The primary problem, though, was that Danny needed Monty to invest in the project because none of the nation's banks were willing to finance the refineries any longer. But after verifying the agreement, Monty initially chose to speak with Tommy about it. Tommy informed him that there were smugglers all over the valley and that it would be extremely difficult to turn a profit in such dangerous region. The cost of production per well will rise to $750 per barrel due to the additional fence and security costs they would have to pay. To put it briefly, Tommy informed his boss that while the work itself is not impossible, turning a profit is. After hearing what he wanted to hear, Monty made the decision to invest his $300 million in the transaction. Tommy gets violent while seeking revenge. After Cooper's vicious attack in the previous Landman episode, things aren't looking good for him. In episode 6, Beware the Second Beating, Tommy rushes back to Midland to learn more about what transpired. In Landman episode 5, the Norris family's situation was improving. Despite one family dinner night incident, Angela and Tommy were formally back together, and Ainsley was establishing a new life in Midland. But when Cooper returned to the man camp at the end of the episode, Manuel and Antonio viciously attacked him. While his family and co-workers unwittingly went about their morning, he was left unconscious on the ground. Angela wants to break up with Victor in person, and Tommy needs to inform Monty about the cartel threat, so they both travel to Texas for their own missions. Although Monty doesn't appear to be too worried about the cartel, Tommy is able to persuade him to phone one of his senatorial buddies in the hopes of giving them some influence in order to frighten the cartel away. Tommy, meantime, surveys Monty's home, the opulence reminding him of his former life as a king. In the meantime, he has 12 unanswered sheriff calls in his pickup. Angela gets a rude awakening. Angela shows up at the home she and her current spouse, Victor, share. However, she is met by his lawyers rather than having the friendly meeting she had hoped for. Their divorce is finalized, and the prenuptial agreement has an infidelity clause that prevents Angela, who has now cheated on Victor with Tommy, from receiving any money, homes, or interests. However, she is able to preserve her cherished Bentley. After furiously signing the paperwork, Angela leaves the house, running into Victor's new, young lover en route. She steals some vintage wine before leaving. Tommy receives a call from Nate on his way back, informing him about Cooper. After speaking with the sheriff, he learns that Cooper has to be flown to the hospital due to a collapsed lung from the assault. He calmly and swiftly contacts Angela and instructs her to meet him there. At the hospital, everyone gets together. When Ariana gets to the hospital, Ainsley and Dale are already there, and a doctor informs them that Cooper will need to be under observation for a few days while he is not having surgery. In addition, he has damaged ribs and a concussion. Tommy contacts Boss in a fit of wrath and tells him what occurred. That evening, the two begin formulating a strategy to deal with Manuel and Antonio. When Cooper finally awakens, he appears awful. Dale tries his